Well, hey, Earthling, how about a reading from your metal dog? I'm shuffling 4 decks here. I'm going to pull one card from each deck, and then I'm going to ask you to pick 1, 2, 3, or 4. And then you can click on the timestamp, which will be below in the description box, and go right to your reading with the card that you related to. The question for these decks, which I've already shuffled, but I wanted you to see me shuffle them too. The question we're going to ask of each deck is in the category of what we think is happening. And then we're going to ask what's really happening and what to do about it, what to bring to it, what to let go, and then anything that the tarot wants us to know in addition to that. Often I call that what's hidden. But I like to think that there's just like a wild card from the tarot here. And so it's going to be, we'll pull a card from here, and then for each set we'll clarify in a couple of ways and go into greater depth. So I've got 4 beautiful decks that I think of as concerned with nature. And yeah, so let's see. We'll start with the Guardian of the Night. So, see, this is number 1. Do you identify with this? Does this seem to be what is going on in your world? A Page of Swords. This is intellect. This is curiosity. This is information seeking. It's often a card of social media, just a kind of like trying to understand or find out more information. This is the meaning of card number 1. Page of Swords. Air. That is your element. Okay, so now we're going to move to this deck, which is Anima Mundi Tarot. It's subtle, so give it a chance here. Okay. Cut this deck. Let's see what card number 2 is. A Page of Cups. This is a much more emotional, dreamy, flirty energy, more swimming around like this beaver in the emotions. So it looks like we've got, right up in here, things are matters of the brain, things are matters of the heart. Both very young energies, 1 and 2. Okay, and now we will go to the Tarot of the Wild Unknown and see what this deck, my very first sweetheart deck, I call it. I call it a sweetheart because it's never jealous that I got all these other beautiful decks. Okay, so here you have card number 3. 4 of Wands. This is a creation. It's normally the 4 of Wands is stability, authenticity. It's like a party. It's a celebration. This is a much more abstract image. So if this draws you in, number 3, that is your card. I'll show you these again so you can get down into it. Okay, now we're going to go with the good tarot. I shuffled that a lot, and it just says, go. Go, Heather. Okay, the card here is transformation. This is often the death card in the tarot, but it's a beautiful image of transformation. Little girl blowing at some magical fire in her hand. So this is number 4. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you these again, and then I will start with number 1, and then I will timestamp 2, 3, and 4 so that you can skip ahead to those. Let me pull a little piece of paper here to do that. Okay. I'll try to remember to do that while I'm doing this. Okay. So number 1, Page of Swords. This up in the air, the mind, curious. This little creature. Another young creature, this little beaver. Page of Cups. This is, so you're asking yourself, what does it feel like is happening right now? Then you have a Four of Wands. This is kind of a card that might make you want to know, what is this? It's an image of our ideal, of a kind of ideal. It can be a community, it can be a relationship. And then we have this card for transformation, number 4. Okay, my cat's coming in here. All right, so we're going to start. I love the big eye. Go away, babe. We're going to start here with number 1, which is the Page of Swords. And we're going to look on the bottom of the deck here as we do. We've got quite a few things going on here for you, Page of Swords. So we have, this is in the realm of the Eight of Pentacles, the workplace it can be. So some kind of work. The Wasp here building their bank of stored pentacles in that beautiful paper wasp nest. Okay. There's also here the Knight of Wands. That passionate, fiery, can be a bit lusty. Let's see. One more. Thirdly, we have the Three of Swords. This is painful. There's a little hope here represented by this feather underground under these chains. But this heart stabbed by 3 bones. It feels like this feather actually doesn't come in as hope for me. It comes in as whatever has been lost. And it looks to me like there has been an attachment that felt like chains and somebody has left. Could be you, could be somebody else. And they have left these chains and have flown away. And this is how that feels. Yeah. Well, let's look deeper here at what's going on so we can maybe understand a little bit more about what this is saying here. So what appears to be going on is that you're in a place of curiosity. You're seeking information. This is the kind of work that you're really putting your heart into. And the reason that you're kind of up in the swords, in the head, in the air, at work, or even the Knight of Wands. He's not a heart guy. This Wolverine here that we have, he's a fighter. He's a warrior. He's intense, or she. And it has to do with this. I feel like this is starting to get us to what is really going on. Okay, my Earthling friend. Let's see. This is a new kind of reading. It's a new focus, new collective building for me. So bear with me. When I think about Earthling, I think of everything on this planet is indigenous to this planet. And then that makes me immediately think about how we're also made of star stuff. But for me, to be an Earthling is when I get into, like, I belong here. This does not belong to me, but I belong here. And belonging here means that I am responsible for my mother, this earth. Okay, so let's see. This Page of Swords kind of always makes me a little nervous. I'm not sure why. So we're going to pull these cards here. I think there's 5, maybe 4. First card is what appears to be going on. This is again up in the head. This is a process of healing. So that appears that you're, with your thoughts, healing in your mind. You've gone away by yourself to ponder. What's really happening is there's an 8 of Wands. There is a lot of fire, a lot of communication, action. That's a very opposite thing from this going alone to heal. Maybe you're going alone to heal, and a part of that is involving this seeking information from the outside, and so there's actually a lot coming in to your mind here. And we're going to ask what you have to bring to this situation. You get a 9 of Cups. This is your sense of well-being, your happy place. This is an autonomous and self-fulfilling wish. It's emotionally, so you want to bring your comfort in your own skin, that kind of something that you've earned, this sense of contentment or emotional satisfaction to this situation. And I see how what's really going on, there's that same kind of image of the sun coming out from behind this person here, and then also here. And the sun in the tarot represents the happiest card in the tarot, and it is card of wish fulfillment. So now we ask what we want to let go of in this process, and that is some kind of Ace of Wands. In this deck, the fire brings up very often the imagery of the phoenix, which I associate with death. That the Scorpio transformation of rising from fire, from the ashes of disintegration. Okay, what does the tarot want you to know? Okay, so here is real healing, Earthling. The star. This is, so you have like what appears to be going on here, and then there's a lot more that's actually going on and what to do about it, which we'll talk about. And then the tarot says this is real healing. So this is the kind of wild part of what the tarot wants you to know or to focus on in this process. Okay, well, let's clarify. I'm very, very in the dark about what this message is. So much so that I'm like, maybe I can't channel at this moment. But let's keep going, because the cards always end up communicating to me. I think it's because I'm not totally sure what this message is even about. It looks like you're up in your head and you're distracting yourself from some pain. The cards are saying you're trying to isolate and do this, but you're like completely captivated by an idea of action or actual action, or you're thinking a lot about communicating and acting, and so it's keeping you in a different state from this. It's not healing your heart. All this action is preventing you from healing your heart. Okay. So the advice is bring this 9 of Cups. Bring this like you know who you are. You know how to make yourself happy. This is the first card of Cups here, is actually telling you to get back down into your heart, not to the pain in your heart, but to your sense of well-being, your emotional fulfillment. And that when you do that, you'll be able to let go of all of this anger, all of this resolve to rise from the ashes, this kind of like Wolverine warrior. You're being intense, mind and passion, and you're working really hard not to feel. And the tarot says, come down into your heart, not into your pain, but into your sense of well-being. Know who you are. Like this woman, she is like an artist. Look at what's outside. There's a beautiful day outside, and then she's standing in front of this beautiful mural. So if you can see to the outside, there's the sun, there's happiness out there. It contradicts this. I know, I'll do this. I'll show them. I'll say this. That place that you can get when you're obsessing about this loss that you felt here. Okay. And then this is real healing. You can see the cups, you can see the water. I actually feel like this star is out here in this world, right? So she's inside, and this is outside her door. So it's, I feel like this is water. She's got her foot in the water, and there's water here, and earth. Yeah. Okay, let's clarify. See if we can find out anything else. What's on the bottom here? Ooh. Self-harm. Yeah. So the tarot is saying that you're in a situation where you're trying to avoid pain, but it's actually just a form of self-harm. It's not, and you're stuck in it. Like you can see how this eyeball is like being stabbed. It's subject to the mind, and it doesn't feel good to be in that state. So this, you, my earthling friend, are being guided to true healing from some kind of loss. You want to take action, but it doesn't come from your heart. It comes from being pissed. And it comes from, it's almost like an apocalyptic urge. Like, so these earthling readings are really about what's happening on our planet and what we need to do about it. So I feel like I'm talking to somebody who is using their mind and considering action that could be, well, I'm just getting a little bit of a going to revolution kind of feeling from you. Okay? All right, so yeah, I want to split this, all right? I'm going to split this, and then we're going to go card by card and clarify. I'm going to start by clarifying what you think you're doing. Because it's clearly you're doing, and you think you're like this. You're sitting alone, you're meditating, you're levitating, But there's also, like, you're aware of your darkness. Like those dark birds, they're not always bad, There's a kind of freedom in flight and beauty in darkness. But because you're coming from this heartache that you're doing a lot to not feel. Let's see. Okay, there's your tower. This, something is ending or has ended, and you're responding to that. There's death. We're being a little bit repetitive here. It's massive. Okay, Queen of Rods. Yeah, and this is really how you feel about it. She's the queen of the law of attraction. She's very passionate, fiery, sexy. I feel like you're sitting in your alone time and you're dwelling on what looks like the end of the world to me. It's a massive end. This Three of Swords is about that, this tower and the closed death. And then you're working your mind to, you're thinking like, what am I going to do? I need to do something. That's what I think. You want to do something. You think you're changing your mind and thinking and being rational and reasonable, but you're like a wasp. Okay. And a wasp is building, making. They're not mean and they don't bite you unless you bite them. All right. So there's a kind of awesomeness about the wasp or the hornet here. It's like this. This passionate warrior, the Wolverine. Yeah, and you're hurting. So there's loss. The Tower and the clothes have made you feel lost, but you're responding to it with fire. Okay. So, what's really happening? Interesting. 8 of Wands, right? Strangely, your brain's really activated here. All parts of your brain. Action, communication. That's what the 8 of Wands is usually about. That's really coming from your mind. 4 of Swords. Okay, so there's some unconsciousness here. 4 of Cups. Emotionally unconscious. Yeah, I'm getting that. I'm gathering that you're unconscious. The Empress. This is our planet. This is your planet speaking to you, Earthling. The Empress. Okay. When you're having this fantasy of action like this that you're going to release, this fiery action of the Knight of Wands, there's a lot of, it's almost violent. You're unconscious about Earth. And you get the 6 of Pentacles here. This is generosity, charity. I think this is about what the Earth gives you. So you're focusing on the end of the world and what you should do, and what but as you're thinking and up in your head about all of this action, you're in fact unconscious, 4 of Cups, of the Earth Empress and all that she gives you, and that you can give back to her. Okay, so this is what you want to bring: your comfort in your skin, your sense of contentment, your emotional well-being and wish fulfillment here. So let's clarify that. Interesting. Okay, there is a new beginning. It will take sacrifice. This Ace of Pentacles, it gives us an altar. There's blood on that altar. There's the new world that you get to have. But there needs to be some kind of sacrifice. The rabbit represents, the rabbit's looking back at the Empress. The rabbit is what is asking you to make a sacrifice. The rabbit is an agent of Earth. There is an ending and there is a beginning. The world. The world is a card of the end of a major cycle, but it also signifies the beginning. And it is a cycle that you have participated in, that you have grown in. It means that you've accomplished something. And this is a part of what she reminds you to remember who you are. Remember your heart, and that you got here through your heart. And even though you're freaked out because the world's ending and you want to do something, don't forget your heart. And then the Emperor. The Emperor here, card of Aries, looking backwards. He is the opposite of the Empress. He's looking at her on the table right now. She's above him, looking down on him. He represents structural power. He is the alpha. He is one of the yes/no cards. The leader. He's taking care of his kingdom. I can't quite see what this sacrifice, this Ace of Pentacles says. You need to do something concrete. You have accomplished the world, this cycle. I see that you're the Emperor. I see that you have power here. And to remember that. Remember your power and give this up. Emperor might come from fire. He's a fire sign, Aries. Mars and Venus, they are coming into conjunction here, astrologically. And they're going to travel together for a while. So this is an opportunity to find balance. What we might also see here is, because we have the world and then the Emperor, But there's an ending coming to the structure, but not to the planet, okay? The planet is asking you to make a sacrifice, perhaps of some of the kind of confidence and comforts of what has been our system and the structures that have been in place. So you're freaked out about this ending, but you've gone unconscious about the earth. Don't forget. Yeah, I think I said that. Let's keep going. You're giving up. This is what you want to release. We've just gone through Mercury is in retrograde right now. Venus just left retrograde. We're coming into a spell where everything is going direct. All planets are going direct. This means that from our place on Earth, we would look at the planets if we could see all of them, and we would see all of them moving in the same direction as us, forward around the sun. They have appeared to be going backwards, and what this has meant is that they went and they reviewed what we did, and now they're crossing back over. So we get to integrate what we've learned in this process of review. And Mars, I'm talking about this because Mars is fire. Mars is the emperor. Mars is here with death, the close. In the old astrology, death, Scorpio would be ruled by Mars. And then we have the Empress, Venus, here in the Earth as well. Okay, well, let's see. We're giving up the Ace of Wands. Okay, we're giving up control of Pentacles. There's a work, the Eight of Pentacles. This was the Wasp card that you have here, or the Hornet, a same card. Hang on, it's a relationship to Earth. Oh, and then you get the Star. Now we have the Star twice. A very, very different feel. Control, work, naked, out in nature. Yeah. The Emperor is also telling me, yeah, you want to act like decisively. Queen of Rods, Emperor. You want to control. But the real healing, let's find out what it is. This is what the tarot wants you to know. The Star again. This is what you really want to do. And it comes with an emotional balance. I mean, she's actually just pouring out water onto the land, into the water. She's under those beautiful stars. We ought to think about what's happening out there, Earthling. Okay, what is this Star? What does the tarot want you to know here? Strength. Yes, this is rising to your highest self. Control that animal idea. Put down some kind of burden. This is the end of the fire cycle of wands. You're very much wanting to burn shit. So put that down. Control your violence, strength, and Seven of Swords. Interesting. That's like a secret. There's a secret. There's a secret that's not yet revealed. There's healing. There's something that we don't know. Okay? There's something you don't know. Go back to your heart. Okay? Use your heart. Remember your connection to your planet, your emotional, what you've earned, that you know shit. You feel you have an emotional connection. And although you want to act and do something, the cards say, control that urge. There's something that you don't know. And it has to do with whatever you're very worried about, whatever you're aspiring to heal. Because this is what you think you're doing, healing. But the real healing is ahead, and you don't quite understand how to do it. So wait until you understand. And because you have the Three of Swords, your heart and mind are not in alignment right now. There's the timing on this is not slow. It's just there's like a little come to your heart and rise to your best self here. And she has the caduceus, another representation of healing, Mercury. Okay. All right. On the bottom, there's, this card has been here. So this is the slow down card, the guide. This is temperance. And you can see, another image of rising to your best self. This angel is measuring water back and forth, back and forth. It's an alchemical process of coming in, bringing your waters, the elements here, particularly your emotions, into this process that you're in before you act. So wait. Okay. All right. So that's number 1. And now we will turn to number 2, which is 31. All right. Now we're going to put all these cards away for a reading for number 2, which is the Page of Cups. That was a very interesting reading for number 1. So let's see what number 2 is about. So maybe I'll give myself a minute here to, so we'll say 31, 30. All right, number 2, we have you here, the Page of Cups, this light new feeling, being like this little otter in the water. So this is number 2. We're going to begin by looking at what is, so that represents what you think is going on. It's kind of light. It seems kind of nice and dreamy. Flirty maybe. There's like some new emotional curiosity, flirtation going on with you. On the bottom of the deck, you're waiting, the Hangman. You waiting on the Page of Cups, on waiting for love? Okay. All right, that's it. That's what's on the... So let's clarify. Let me shuffle these cards here. All right, so Earthling. The point of the reading is to connect to our planet, to our relationship to it. That it is not a relationship in which we possess and take, but one in which we are in relation of kinship. Indigenous people, indigenous societies in the Americas had formal arrangements of kinship. So did Europeans, but we are estranged from those responsibilities and a sense of a need to depend on our planet. So to varying degrees, we're all Earthlings, and yet some of us are more in communion with our planet than others here. When I look at this little otter here, I see a person immersed in earth. So, and this spider too gives me a sense of, like, I see this spider is watching the stars. So I feel like you who've come to this reading for number 2, you are not estranged from your planet. And that's very beautiful to see. It feels so different with you. Number 1 was really wanting to take action out of and control, like violent action. I don't feel that from you. I feel that you are like this otter and like this spider. You are in your planet, in your universe, in a very beautiful, peaceful way. It feels really so lovely to be with you, Earthling. Okay, Earthling. It's kind of cheesy, but I like it. I'm trying to identify as an Earthling. And I feel like there's so much wonderful information about our connectedness to things we recognize as fellow Earthlings, like obviously humans, but animals, plants, even the rocks, the metals, the dirt. It's snowy here, and the snow is melting. And the first day I could touch Earth, with my hands. I went and put my hands on the earth and I cried. I was strangely lonely for the planet. Okay, I can tell you that, right? Because you're coming in here as a Page of Cups. So the first card is what you think is going on, a Four of Cups. You feel very alone right now. You know what to do. I've seen you in other readings. You're watering this little flower. You feel this watched. Yeah, so there's that Page of Cups and you caring for your planet, but feeling alone in that. Yeah, I can see how both this spider and this otter are alone, immersed in earth. Okay, what's really going on? King of Swords. King of Swords can be cold. I read the King of Swords, even when he's in this, it's maybe like my least favorite King of Swords, but I love this deck. It's like, so the King of Swords, it's intellectual. I think of him because I study the science behind air in the early modern period. It's blood, it's the sanguine humor, and it is warm, actually, not cold. And it is connected to the heart at the level of the King of Swords. He is the philosopher king. He's gone to battle. He's used his mind. He's used words. And he knows that they can hurt, and that when you reach the status of king, you ought to bring your heart to bear with your mind. So I feel like this is how everybody else feels to you. They feel cold. Like the King of Swords is traditionally read. But that what's really going on, yeah, this is the King of Swords looking in on you. You think you're alone and that they're cold, but in fact, this king, my King of Swords, when I'm your reader, is a king who appears cold, but is wise to the heart. Then the heart needs to be brought to bear here. Okay, what you need to do and bring to this situation. Ten of Swords. Okay, this is your pain. This is and the swords are your mind. And the King of Swords, there's a relationship between these two cards. This king has done this. He's learned from this. What has he learned? What have you learned from the Ten of Swords? It's the end of, it can be a heartbreak. There's always a new day. This is a very dark Ten of Swords. You can't actually see morning yet. The moon is high. There's a lot unknown. And so this card, this particular Ten of Swords, doesn't tell you to look to the new day, but it tells you to look to what you learned when you reached this painful place. I think that the King of Swords has a relationship to that because he has also faced the Ten of Swords. Okay, what we were letting go of. Princess of Discs. Young. Wow, we're letting go of like gardening the earth, like of. That's such a different release. Okay, let me pull the card that I feel like I understand this, but let me see. The tarot wants you to know what you don't see is there's a Five of Cups. Yeah. This is so interesting. You feel alone. You love your earth. You feel like you have to give it up. That there's something dead here. You're grieving. Five of Cups. It's a card of endings, just like the Ten of Swords. It's a perspective opportunity. You can see she's in the bath. She's crying. The bath represents your emotions. These cups have spilled. This is what she's crying over. There's two cups behind her. You can see all of these eyes crying. This deck has a lot of eyes looking in, but this is a scene in which you feel alone. You're not. There are compassionate others who weep with you. But there's a feeling that I have here that you think that this is what you think you need to release. This young vision of Earth, of what your life was going to be like, and what you were going to make and do, and what your relationship with Earth was going to be. And I think you do have to release that, and I think that's why you're sad. But you feel so alone, and you're not. This King of Swords, this eye looking on, all these eyes watching her in the bathtub weeping, and this feeling of pain, of endings. This is a shared feeling. Wow, this is a sad reading. The Hanged Man is here. It tells me from the very beginning that you're looking at things in a very beautiful, poignant, emotional way. But the Hangman says you have to hang upside down, and you're going to be forced to stay in this place. It's not a nice place. 5 of Cups, painful. 10 of Swords, painful. 4 of Cups. It's like, this is a place of sorrow. And you have to stay here until you see it differently. And when I look at this Hanged Man here, I see this spider looking at the stars, and they're reminding me of the eyes that are looking at this woman in the bathtub, or this scene of the stars and the eyes. So it's like you feel alone, and this can be such a lonely feeling. Okay, Earthling is bigger than humanity too. Like, the category of Earthling it includes this otter, this spider, these stars, this, like, we don't need to feel alone. You are not alone, Earthling. Okay, let's clarify, let's carry on. In fact, on the bottom of the deck, there's a lot. Okay, not too much though. On the bottom of the deck, there is the Lovers. Divine love. Can also be a partner, like on all the levels, all the connections. There's your brain. Your brain's in confusion and conflict here. It's kind of awesome, Medusa brain. Lots of ideas, very magical and earthy. Look at that mystical brain with the snakes and transformation. That's a very cool 5 of Wands. 5 of Wands can be competition and no leadership and just kind of creative chaos. And I see that here. It's very magical, very earthy, Earthling, earthy power. Okay, Princess of Cups. This is the same as the Page of Cups, right? Our little otter. What's different? Why do we get this twice? We would want to ask. She's offering her heart. It's a gift. This little one, do you see? So sweet. Kind of humble. This one's a little bit more proud. Like, I have something to bring here. And then the 2 of Swords. This is the brain. Dark and light. Indecision. That's fantastic. She's standing on that same kind of island that we see here, alone in her head. And the swords, these suggest a lot of intellect, a lot of head going on. So you think you're in your heart, but you're in a set of ideas that are keeping you unconscious of this, like, this awesomeness. This is what's out there for you. There's a big, vast community out here for you to get in touch with. Okay, it might not even be human, although I think it's another consciousness for you to get in touch with. It could be I feel like there are other people who are aware of this or who are part of this, but that this is because of who you are, because you're this lovely, connected Earthling who knows how to commune with your planet, who loves deeply and relates deeply. Like, this feels very indigenous sense of responsibility and relationship, kinship to Earth. Like, that's you. You're sad. You feel alone. You're not. Like, a lot of the times in my readings, I get the message that we don't realize how much power and goodness there is for us to connect into. Okay, let's see. You have to change your perspective. You're in the hangman. So this sadness perhaps is partly because of this Ten of Swords, this pain. So you need to, it's a moon journey when we're looking at it there. Okay, hang on. So we're clarifying the Four of Cups. We get a Two of Pentacles, the Lovers. Two of Pentacles. This is exciting. I'm excited. Okay. The Lovers, two choices. And the Ace of Pentacles. Okay. This is where you think you are. You think you have, there's a lack of balance. There's a choice. It's to sacrifice. It's a sacrifice. This is your sadness. It's almost like it goes all the way back to the Garden of Eden. And like, you know that garden, you've been there. That's why you love the earth. But what you've seen is you've seen it sacrificed. And you're this little bunny in shock at what, yes, it's something has been sacrificed so that somebody can have this castle. Right? The imbalance. You see it, you feel it deeply. And and so the Lovers, that's what you miss. You're nostalgic for that. Four of Cups can have this focus on what's lost. Okay. What's really going on is this King of Swords. Okay. Now, let's see what the cards say, because, you know, I have my revisionist tarot sometimes. Okay, Strength. This is very much reiterating what I said before of like taking that violence of the sword of the mind and rising to the heart, to your higher self. Strength, healing. It's a loving, heart-based approach. So this is really what's really going on. Yes, the world is ending and beginning anew. You are correct about that. Yeah, you're correct about that. The Tower, again. It's ending because it's built on a faulty foundation, which you know, because, yeah. But what you don't realize is that the world is with you. World is coming to terms with this. You're not alone. Yeah, I feel that. Okay. Your strength is your ability to work through this very painful ending under the moon, which is, I said a moon journey earlier. So like, it's not typically brought together with the Ten of Swords, but it's beautifully brought together in this Ten of Swords, that you don't yet see the sunrise. Ultimately, the moon will set, the sun will rise. This is a full moon. Under a full moon, the sun is on the absolute opposite side of the planet. It's exactly opposite, but you can actually see the sun is reflected on the moon, and it's full because they are opposite. So there's always that promise of the day, of the sun rising and the new day in a Ten of Swords. Here, you're going to do something in the night. Meanwhile, yes, I had a pen that spilled ink all over me. Meanwhile, we go through the darkness, and you have a capacity for darkness. You're kind of a lonely, solitary type you have a deep sadness, a watery, emotional quality to you. So this is your strength. So let's see. Let's find out more. This is awesome. Okay, so there's another healing swords. Going alone, like I just said. Looking at your ideas. Perhaps your ideas need to change. That would be a 6 of swords. There's the 3rd page of cauldrons. No question, your heart is a gift. The heart that's hurting right now, from which you're watering this last little rose here in your, this is what you think is happening. This is your gift. It's like, it's the unstruck place in us, in your heart. Like, even though you've been stabbed 10 times in the back by these ideas, your heart, somehow there's a place in you that never feels that has never been hurt. And there's victory, the 6 of rods. So it's simply that new ideas that come from your heart are what is needed, and you have the heart for that. And that you ride in with that heart on your 6 of rods stallion. And the 6 of rods victory is that people recognize and acknowledge what you have to offer, and they acknowledge you. So your heart. Okay, so we're releasing this, which, you know, I feel very ambivalent about you releasing this, but let's see what it means. Oops, what's going on here? I got these cards all awry. Okay, releasing a Princess of Discs. 8 of Pentacles. It's very earth. So an idea is at work. 8 of Pentacles. Star. Wish fulfillment. Healing. Right? Nature. 7 of Swords. It's a secret. These are, again, ideas. Yeah, it's just the same message that I got before. It's like, part of why you're sad is that you had a vision. It's beautiful. It was going to be your life work, and it's taken away from you. Yeah, and this is making you sad. So you're invited to release what you wanted to do, because it makes you feel lonely and sad. Although I totally see why you want to hold on to it. I feel that with you. I feel that. It was a beautiful vision that died here. Yeah. It was this. Whew, that makes me sad. Okay. And this is what the tarot says. This is what we need to know. So let's know this. It was taken away from you. And that's why you're sad. But you're not alone. 10 of Rods. It's putting down a burden, finishing perhaps a burden you carry alone. A 6 of Pentacles. Reciprocity, generosity, and Emperor. You're not alone. This is what the tarot wants you to know. It looks to me just like what I just said about your heart. Like, you have something to offer that you kind of kept private. And it's been a burden to carry this alone, but that now you're not alone, and that people get it and they're ready to receive it. Even the Emperor, even like, keep seeing this in my readings, that the Hierophant or the Emperor in today, it's like the powers that be are willing to receive the gift of you. That is here 3 times the Page of Cauldrons. Like here we see her, this is my favorite one. Here she is, she's holding this cup, it's a gift. Yeah. It looks like this. It's really hard for the rest of the world to make sense of it. But this is your magic. You have magic to bring to the situation, and you feel alone and you feel like you're just doing it all by yourself and it's hopeless and desolate, but you're not alone. And what you have is access to the divine, to the cup of the divine. The lovers to me is divine. It's like a Ace of Cups to the nth, in the major arcana. It's divine love. It is rising to our highest self, which is again like this, coming from your heart. Like, so this mindset that is rooted in the heart, the King of Swords, it comes from giving up a dream that you had, but that there's something still about what you were going to come from, the magic you're going to bring to that dream that is now no longer your burden to carry alone. It is, the world is ready for it. Even the big emperor is ready for it, Earthling. So I'm sorry that you're sad and that you feel alone. You are invited to grieve that has been taken from you, but you're also invited to know that in fact this time where the way with your beautiful Garden of Eden got sacrificed on this table to build this castle, like the king of the castle is ready to hear what you know, and that is beautiful, painful, ouch, but also like hopeful here. So I hope that helped you. I will now move on to number 3, the 4 of Wands here. I'll put up all these cards and shuffle them and invite number 3 to come into this reading. Make sure and shuffle these. I feel like this is kind of like a part of the reading that I'm by myself because you clicked off and number 3 hasn't clicked on. I love reading tarot. It is such a leap. I feel like I can say anything to whoever comes here to watch these. It was really iffy at first. I almost quit. It is a real blessing. It's a gift. It's a gift that feels like it comes from out there. And I find these readings to be very reassuring and healing for me to do. Okay. Here we go. We're going to write down the time. It's going to be 59:40. Well, hey, Earthling, number 3. We're going to work with your 4 of Wands. I'm very curious about. So this is what you think is going on here. 4 of Wands. Oh, this is my first deck, and when I first learned to read this, it was like a manifestation that you created. Was this deck teaches you that that's what the 4 of Wands means, and I've since learned that it's like it's often like a couple that gets married, all 4 legs of a chair, so it's stable. There's a possibility of authenticity in the 4 of Wands. So this is what you think is going on, and then I hate that you get these cards on the bottom. The Devil, and this is probably the yuckiest card. A Nine of Swords. It's an excellent representation of anxiety. So let's find out what's going on here. We're going to pull some cards from another deck, and then we'll clarify with another deck. And let us see. So, Earthling, these readings are meant to be about the big scope of things that are happening out there. I feel like you might be in denial, but I don't know. I have to ask the tarot. The devil says, the devil is usually you. It's in you. It's just your darkness. It's just your unexamined self. It's just maybe a message that you have from your life that says, you don't deserve this Four of Wands. And then the Nine of Swords would suggest that this is keeping you up. So that would be maybe the overall, like what you think is going on is that you have a chance at authenticity, happiness, community, being with, I always think of the Four of Wands as like the person who so gets you, but you're not deserving of this. That's what you think. That's what I'm reading here. And you're really thinking about it a lot. The devil's in your head going, you don't deserve it. You're not good enough. Nobody will ever love you. But in the context of an Earthling reading, it has to be like some kind of dream. Like I'm going to say it's like a dream of the new earth, and that you don't believe in it. You don't believe that you can manifest this. You want it dearly, but this is how it feels at night when you think, can I have it? And this guy's like, you'll never have it. He's a cute little devil with his feet on fire in this deck. Yeah, he's just like kind of look at his eyes. He's funny. Kind of reminds me of my dog right now. And he's like, I don't want to obey. He's a bad dog. Okay. So let's see what you think is going on. 10 of Discs. That's like very much like a warped Four of Wands. I'm not a fan of the 10 of Discs. It is wealth, abundance, the kind of conventional ideal. It's like the old world to me. Okay, what's really going on? Two of Swords. Somebody's up in their head. That's kind of like the Nine of Swords and the devil, torn between light and dark. And there's a similar little island here. It's very isolated. This is what you think is happening. This is what is really happening. Okay, great. Because I was kind of hoping that you're going to get what you want, the Four of Wands, and that you're wrong. It looks like your vision is problematic. You think it's all of that, but it's actually really small. And it's just like you're blind in it. Sorry, man. Okay, Earthling. Don't leave. Let's see. There's going to be some advice here for you. What can you bring to this situation? The Hanged Man. Yep. Just time to hang upside down and look at things and see things in a different way. I feel like you need to wake up. Yeah. You need to wake up. You need to see something that you're not seeing. Two of Swords says you're blind. Hangman says you have a capacity to see things in a new way. And it's pretty beautiful. It's like, and it feels so opposite. Like this is all up and this is all into the roots of this tree. Insight is coming from below. And this is very much up in the hierarchy with the big house and the peacocks representing kind of like the excess. Like peacocks are fantastic and excessive. This is what you need to let go of. Again, that little island where you're alone. You're on an island. It's too small. Okay, what the tarot wants you to know. The High Priestess. This is intuitive. This is something very secret. I'm not sure we're going to get to know. You don't know this. Sometimes when you get the High Priestess, it's like you intuitively know what you need to know, but you don't know something. Do you even get to know it? Okay. On the bottom. On the bottom, there is 3 of Swords. This is your heart and mind. Swords, mind, heart are not in alignment. It's painful. Ace of Wands. This is your island burning. I see the island again. This is a 5 of Wands. This is conflict and chaos and magic. Medusa. This is what the High Priestess is, the mystery. There's a mystery. It's hidden from you even now. It's up. It doesn't make sense, right? It looks like this. Huh. I hope you'd stay for this reading. I feel like you might be the kind of person that wouldn't stay for this. There's something that you need to know. Maybe we'll know it. Let's find out, okay? Let's find out. All right. What you think is going on? 10 of discs. I feel like you would never be watching this reading. Okay. The Magician. Manifestation. Manifesting the world, having all the tools, power. I feel like you're very powerful. Or you feel powerful. I feel like the Magician. Like, strength. And wow, the High Priestess. There she is. Okay. So this is what you think is going on. You think you're very powerful. That's why I feel like anyone with this much power, magic, to manifest, you think you're, I'm not going to say you're, I don't know, you think you're empowered. You think you know what you're doing. You're trusting your intuition. You think you're holding your best, you think you're your best self. Like, you basically have no doubts about the world that you've manifested, created. You totally trust your intuition. This is a weird reading because the tarot is actually saying, usually it's like, oh yeah, you're awesome. This one's like, you're wrong. This is you. You're on a tiny little island up in your head, holding 2 swords, and you're on the verge, on the edge between day, night, but you're mostly, I just see you very isolated, balancing on one leg. Not very powerful. Small number. Huh. Sorry. I wouldn't keep watching this. I'd be like, that's not me. I would not have the humility to watch this. I'd be like, I must be number 4, transformation. Let me go watch that reading. So far, I wouldn't want to be, I mean, I relate in different ways to each of these, and they're all painful. They're all difficult readings. Okay, this is what's really going on. The deck has just, okay. The High Priest, Mr. Yes, No, structural power. The Lovers, opposite of the Devil, which is, and the Fool, starting a new journey. Yeah, to me this is, you think you're okay, but you're not. Your island's very small and very vulnerable, and yeah, you feel like this powerful hierophant, the high priest, magician, strength. You feel like you're all that, but it's like the fall of man. It's like, which I hate to reference because I don't know, but maybe this makes sense to you. It's like you feel like you're in the Garden of Eden. But you're a fool. I feel like you're in a world that is very safe feeling and is disconnected from reality. And that when you're in this bubble, you feel like you're okay, but you're not. You're a fool to think that. Why? Wow, okay. You do have a capacity to see to the roots, to hang upside down and get a different perspective. And I feel like insight comes from below. And you're up on it. That's why I feel like you're rich, you're powerful, you're comfortable, you're in denial. Yeah, and that's why I feel like you never watch my reading, because why would anyone feels like you hang out with a radical earthling like me? Okay. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm being judgy. But the cards are like, you're blind. You're a fool. You think you're all that. What's really going on? We don't know that yet. What's really going on? This is what you bring. The Hanged Man. Ability to change perspective. Page of Pentacles. Very practical, real, idealistic vision to make something real. Okay, I love it. The Sun. Absolute happiness. Rising from the ashes. Here's the people below. The Five of Pentacles. Abandonment. Being outside. Not seeing what's there. Again, wisdom is coming from below. If you connect down from your perch up on high, where you're very comfortable, you'll feel that people are aspiring. There's an aspiration from below. It's very beautiful and it's very profound, and it is the key to happiness. But until you see that, people feel like this. This is how everybody else feels. They aspire with you to this. Like, you think you have this, but what you have leaves people feeling like this. And they're people, they're beautiful people with aspirations and ideas and visions, and they're in pain. And until you see that, you need to see that. Okay. What to let go of? You're a little island, you alone, watering your one little rose. Everybody's looking at you. I think that's important to you, that you're visible, right? Because we have this like very pretentious peacocks, high priest. I mean, okay. Ace of Rods. Hang on, let me pull these. This is kind of like a hard set to. Two of Swords, this is where you really are. This is your release. And there's your Hanged Man again, the Lone Man. So that's odd. It's like your ability to see things from the roots, from below, is also a part of what you... Oh, I see. What keeps you alone is that you feel alone. Your back is to... You're blind. You know that because the Two of Swords is here twice. You can't see. It's a dilemma. You're looking into yourself. the lone man is a part of this dilemma, and then this Ace of Rods. So these I would tend to read as like two sides of your dilemma. I feel like this lone man, like it's the same as this hangman. Okay, so this lone man, what I'm noticing is like there's a lot behind him. He's got his back turned towards the world. And then this one is history. Like I see Stonehenge. I see the same butterfly here. It's a transformation, message of transformation. Let me go ahead and see. This is what you release. Let me see. So I'll come back. This is what's hidden from you. This is the wild card, what the tarot wants you to know. And then we get the High Priestess, which you think is a part of what you think's happening is that I feel like you think you are the High Priestess, the Magician, the High Priest. Okay. Ace of Swords, the truth. Okay. It's not always easy to get. Ten of Cups. Queen of Pentacles. Four of Swords. Emperor. Two of Cauldrons. Justice. There's a conflict between your happiness and the happiness of others. This is coming from you using your mind to stay in a state of indecision, and you've turned your back on the world. You turned your back on history. You're engaged in this idea. It's an ideology. It's an ideology about family and security. You're being asked to see how your happiness feels like this to the rest of the world. It somehow, your happiness is founded on other people feeling insecure, like they're not enough, like they feel like this. Because you get the truth about your Ten of Cauldrons and your Queen of Pentacles. Ten of Cauldrons is like, this is your emotional fulfillment. This is your norms, your culture. The Security Queen is here. Your sense of your worth, your abundance, your wealth. Security Queen, her whole security depends on this identity. But the truth is that your identity, your well-being, your island here, your little island where you get to be you, comes at a high price for others. Yeah, I don't really even. Then you get, yeah, on the bottom here we get more sense of like going and looking at your ideas and that you're the emperor and this is everybody else. Little beautiful ideals of justice, and you have all this power to give that or take that. That's what I see. Okay, number 3. If you even stayed with me. What I get as a reader is access, I guess, to how different parts of Earthling, how different categories of Earthlings are feeling. makes me think of this test that I took about like a moral code and the difference between different political standpoints. It makes me think of that. So I just feel like I feel aware that there's people who don't care if their happiness comes at a high price to other people. I feel like it's a message that any of us can feel too. Like, I'm privileged, you know. I try to look at how my footprint or my privilege is costing. I'm trying to come more into healthy relation with my planet. I really like to see myself as this magician high priestess, you know. I do often realize that the cost of that is that, and I think that came out in that reading for number 3 there, is like, you're isolated, you're alone on this little island, and you're out of touch with the planet, with everybody else, up in your head, up in your ideology, and it's isolating. I can relate to that too. It's like a very shocking reading. So, okay, we will move on here to the next one, which is number 4, 121. Well, hey, number 4, we're here to talk about transformation with you. It's a beautiful card. These readings have been really amazing. Okay, I'm looking at the bottom of this deck here. It just goes on and on and on. Huh, okay. I'm not scared. Okay, so transformation. Death, the death card. The kind of way we like to see the death card these days is magical, powerful, shocking, beautiful. Things fall apart and they come back together new. And I feel like the child here, unafraid of this shattering, represents what comes of this kind of transformation, a new self in a way. On the bottom, we get 7 of Earth, which is not at all ever coming through as the way the traditional 7 of Earth comes in, which is where you put in the work and then you see what comes of your work. This is definitely magic coming from belief. The fairy arrives, and the fairy in you emerges. You are what you believe you are. You are what you think you are. Okay. King of Earth. The security king, Mr. Earth himself. The god, I feel like I see the oak god, spring, summer. It could be the holly king. Kind and deep. Very magical. 3 of water. The emotional realm. Friendship. Can be a little sensation of juggling in this particular version of emotional connections. Temptation. There is a lot here. And then I've got more cards for you, my dear. This is the devil. This is focusing on earthly, 3D things. Addiction can be a feeling of lack. Yeah, there's something going on here. Okay. Wow, 10 of Earth. Sand Tarot reads this in the coolest way. It's like that these are like barriers. I always see her as more like a 9 of Earth because she's here alone with her wolf dog. Makes me think of another deck too. Okay, Messenger of Water. There's a little It's like this. The messages coming in. That's the classy love offer. 6 of Earth, this generosity. Okay, number 4. This is the kind of reading that goes with a transformation card. It's massive underlying energy. And an Ace of Fire. There's that berry again. Where is she on this? Oh, she's sitting here. This is your messenger. There's a message. We're going to sort it. We'll sort it. There's so much here. It will make sense as we look at these cards. I have no doubt. If I had this for my first reading, I probably would have turned the camera off and started all over, but I have confidence after doing the past readings. So they've been incredible. None has been easy to receive or deliver. Okay, you think you're undergoing transformation. I would agree with you. There's a whole narrative going on here. There's a message, a messenger. You are what you think you are. You are what you believe you are. Okay, what do you think's going on? The Fool. You think you're starting on a new journey, full of faith. Light load, little dog with you. Little toadstools growing at your feet. What's really happening? 9 of Cups. Wish fulfillment. Personal, individual, emotional fulfillment. What we want to bring to this situation. 3 of Wands. Your ability to wait for what you have envisioned to come in. You think you're leaving. You're not. You think you're setting out on a journey. You're waiting. Okay, what do you want to release? The Devil. Yes, the Devil's here. Release the Devil. Release the idea, some idea that you are not enough, or addiction. A voice in your head that says you don't deserve the 9 of Cups. You don't deserve what's coming in. You don't deserve what you're waiting for. There's definitely something coming in to you. And what the tarot wants you to know. 8 of Cups. That's... Wow, you're going to another planet. 8 of Cups. You have 8. You need 9 to feel fulfilled. I already have 9. This is not you. This is somebody else who's coming, who's taking a journey. I feel like it's towards you. Jupiter card, the planet of expansion, the new moon that's happening tomorrow. There's those toadstools again. Huh. Okay, maybe this is you, because these reminded me of this. And then I'm like, well, maybe I read that wrong. This is you. You think you're starting off on a new journey. It's a journey that leaves the planet. Oh. That's kind of where I got the idea for these Earthling readings, is that I keep watching all this science fiction and writing science fiction. And one of the things that comes up for me is that in order to, in my story that I was writing, we had to leave the planet like an arc, kind of a narrative. Not very original, but hey, I'm new at it, writing sci-fi. I was much more interested in the return of the arc. But so I first had to imagine leaving, and I had to create characters who loved Earth and were really collaborating with Earth. The mushrooms, the great mycelium underneath the Earth, all of the roots and the network of exchange of information and of nutrition and energy that is responding to what's happening up here that we're aware of, that this becomes a character in what I was writing. And so people are collaborating with the Earth to save the Earth through what we're going through now. And it began because we were in this pandemic and then climate change. But what I came into was that I had created a character that was never going to be able to leave, even though she was deeply in love with another one of the characters. She was going to have to say goodbye, but she somehow gets born again onto this ship, this ark far away, and so she causes it to return to Earth because of her deep longing for Earth. And so that's what's coming through for me here, is that you think you're leaving, and the tarot says the planet. Something about that, where there's somebody who's leaving, and then you're told to wait. You're told you're actually waiting for, you're just holding steady because you're right where you need to be, and there's somebody coming, and that if you have any doubt, let go of it. And then that's why I'm like, somebody's coming. So let's see. We will clarify. On the bottom of the deck, one card, 3 of Swords. Ouch. The tendency to look at things through pain, through memory of pain. Be tied up by pain and unable to let go of it, obsessed with it. Looking from here, looking from trauma, and it makes me think of, again, the devil. Okay, so there's a correction here. And I also have had this feeling because there's numerous fairies in these cards bringing message to the characters in the cards, right? So we have this beautiful 7 of Earth, and there's a fairy bringing a message. We have Messenger of Water, another kind of fairy, the little seahorse. I feel like this is a messenger. And then in the end here we have the little fairy sitting on the lantern of the Ace of Fire, which is a new beginning. We also get mixed in here King of Earth, a juggling, balancing act in the 3 of Water, and the 10 of Earth. I see her alone with her wealth. She's got a cool dog. I really identify with this. Not because I'm rich, but because I have a cool dog. And then I feel like the other person here, this King of Earth, is a part of what is. So they're in the middle here with, yeah, okay. Let's keep, we don't need to think. We just listen to the cards. So let's clarify. Okay. All right, you think you're leaving. You think you're the fool, or there is a fool here. A new beginning. Transformation, that's what you think is happening. And it's, in a way, it's like, hold steady. Something's coming in. Something that you've manifested. Your wish is coming in. And if you leave, you're like leaving Earth. Okay. The Fool. The Emperor. The High Priest. And the 10 of Rods. Woo! Okay. Yeah, this is so much like my story. It's like you want to leave Earth because it's a burden how the Emperor and the High Priest, they represent structural power. So you just want to off. Yeah, that's exactly. It's like, I'm ready to quit my job, great resignation, and just leave. I want to light load I'm going to hop off of here onto another planet. That's what you think is happening. It's so powerful. It's so powerful that it comes through to me as you are who you think you are. It's like you are manifesting this transformation through faith, through belief. It's a leap. You're willing to leap because you believe in this. The cards say, actually, you're right where you need to be. You're fine. This is good where you are. You have reached fulfillment. Yeah, like, wow. This, look out the window. There's the ocean, sun rising or setting. It doesn't really matter. It's a beautiful view. You have awesome wallpaper in your house. There's an archway. It's like she's in a garden with a mural. And she's got all of these cups. They're like accomplishments. See, there's the arch, and then she's in the garden. There's little flowers here, but there's a mural on the wall. She stands comfortably. Okay. Freaking love that deck. It's so provoking for me and weird. Okay, King of Rods, very much like the Emperor, but passionate, creative, certain alpha energy, kind of much like this, the way she is so confident of her creation. Real leader. Seven of Cauldrons, illusions, projections, and Five of Swords, self-harm. What's really going on? This is similar to what I got for the last reading, where there's a person in that reading who they think they're the best on the planet, and they're not. This one is different. It's it's coming back to this, like your heart and your mind are not in alignment. There's a lot of illusion going on here. Five of Swords. It's like you win, but you don't feel that good about how you won. So your idea of wish fulfillment is why you want to leave. You're not happy with what you worked so hard for. Okay. All right. This is what you need to bring to this ability to wait for what you manifested. Let me see. My dog is having a good drink of water. Okay. Ten of Swords. This is why you have a Three of Swords. Your mind has betrayed you. Knight of Rods. Here's that urge to leave, to act. Okay. I guess I feel like I was being cocky. There's a Page of Swords. Curiosity. Woo! There's a lot of battle here in your cards. Okay, let me just keep going. All right, we're releasing the devil. Let me just see. Knight of Pentacles, slow and steady. Four of Rods. Okay, sorry. I'm doing this reading without you all of a sudden. Okay, there's the Knight of Pentacles, the Four of Rods. This is what you're releasing very slowly, it looks like. And there's the Three of Rods. This is the same card here. This is interesting. And this one emphasizes that you're getting help. That's that fairy, that messenger, the one coming that you're waiting for, help with Earthling. This is about our relationship with our planet. You feel ready for transformation. So ready that you're just leaving the scene. You just had it with it. You're leaving the planet. You're leaving Earth. You think, but in reality, you're acting certain under the illusion that you know what is right to do. And in fact, this is how you're leaving. The fact is, if you leave, you'll regret it. Simple. Okay. So what you need to do is hold steady. Even though you're in pain because of the Ten of Swords, because what you thought you knew, your paradigm is over. The construct, the way we constructed the world, represented by the Emperor and the High Priest, you know this, it's over. And now this is how it feels. It's like, look at their faces. He's like, okay, now what do I do? Action man? What do I think? Curiosity, seeking information. Like, they look anxious, right? They're like, now what? Now what? Okay, we release the devil. Just a bunch of illusions that are scary. What feels threatened to you is something that you've spent your whole life working for, which is whatever this ideal is. This represents 4 of Rods. It's security. I feel like this is what we spent our lives working for. Slowpoke Knight, A student, did everything right, had the plan, has a great hairdo. We worked for this. This is the beautiful dream. This is what feels threatened. What is called into question. The problem with this dream and the way that the Knight of Pentacles operated is without help. You need help. You have to let go of the idea of this nuclear family. Whatever, it's a vision. It's the conventional vision of wish fulfillment that's harmful. Okay. You see that there's an ending. You're willing to embrace this transformation and leap off like the fool. The cards say this is not right. You'll regret it. We see why you're doing it. It's because you're anxious. You don't know what to do. Everything's ended. The paradigm's over. You worked really hard for this ideal, but you did it alone. You did it alone because the devil told you, the bad critical parent thoughts in your head told you that you had to do it alone and that nobody was going to help you. Like, there's a lot of aloneness in the Fool and the Nine of Cups and the Three of Wands. It's like even though you have other people, right? Like, you worked really hard for this. You feel alone and you don't know how to ask for help. Like, you're good at this, waiting by yourself. There's a little bird with you on your shoulder, by the way. In fact, this is the same card. This one, somebody helps you. You need help. I relate to this. Okay. Tarot wants us to know 8 of Cups. This is an incredible, beautiful willingness to leave the planet. Because it's fucked. All right. There's a little fairy. It's appeared multiple times here that has a message for you. It's the bird on your shoulder in this Three of Wands, right? Bird on your shoulder. Listen to the bird. It's right there. It wants to tell you something. Something about this Eight of Cups, about your willingness to leave. And it is Two of Swords. We keep getting this card in all these readings. The Two of Swords is a dilemma that you're going to solve blind. You know, you're not going to get any outside input. You're not willing to ask for help, okay? All right. There's the Knight of Swords. Quick, urgent, intellectual, can be angry, wants to take action, maybe a little too quickly. And then a Three of Cauldrons, who is here as well. Friends, friendship, emotional companions. It's like, it's so lonely. It doesn't really say a whole lot here. It's actually like really saying, you can do this, but you'll be lonely. And there's a little voice in your head that's reminding you of what you walk away from, what you lose, the connections. And I can feel in this reading how you've put a lot of thought into this. You're really a deep thinker. You've considered the earth. The Ten of Earth and the King of Earth are here. You're fed up with temptation. You're fed up with this earthly life, the 3D. And yeah, you are ready, you're willing to, go to the new earth. You're willing to go to the next planet. And there's a lot of information out there that there is like, that we can manifest this, that we can wake up, or I feel like I come in and out of it. Like, and sometimes I have the feeling when I go there, I feel guilty because it feels so good. Spiritually, it's joy and beauty, and the planet is thriving. When I come back, like I don't know when I come back, but when I go there, I feel ashamed of leaving people behind. The Three of Cauldrons, my friends, the other people, people that I work so hard for, this community. That's what I feel here in you. I feel you're ready to go to the new earth, to the next place, to the 5D. I've like been hearing this, as I enter and join this community of tarot readers and astrologers. It's a very magical, joyful place. So then I see this fairy, this messenger that's appearing over and over and over in these cards, a little bird on your shoulder. It reminds me of when I got sober, that there was this grief at leaving my friends who were my drinking buddies, and they couldn't come with me to sobriety. And there was a reading about crossing a bridge and saying goodbye. And then hoping that the people come, and that you can show them by going over there to this beautiful place that there is a place that they can come to with you. Because the Five of Swords is here, and the Seven of Cauldrons, and this, you're ready to go, but there seems to be that there's an illusion, there's regret, there's something that you need to do before it's okay to go, or that you're not to go. I can't quite tell. I'm very curious. So there's, on the bottom, with Ace of Swords, that's it. There's something that you need to know. There's a truth you need to face. It's not an easy one. Well, I think the message that I've been carrying is that you love your planet. You're an Earthling. So I don't think we leave Earth when we go to the new Earth. It's like a new way of being on Earth. It's like changing your mind and believing in magic, basically, and fairies and magic, and but there is a kind of letting go that's a part of it, of letting go of everybody else who has also free will of where they want to live. And you're anxious about that. You don't want to regret that. I relate to that. You don't want to regret going to heaven and leaving everybody else in hell. People you love, your family, your friends, people who are committed to this earth as we have built it. And the idea that we could just leave by our own belief in magic or whatever, I don't quite know. It just felt like when I felt it, I was driving and it was like I crossed like a threshold, and then I was in the same road, the same car, with the same pets, and it was like I changed. Yeah, and then sometimes when we go through transformation, which I don't think you're totally wrong about, that you're in a process of transformation, that when we go through transformation, we change. Our relationship to everything around us changes, but we're still with it. And then sometimes it makes our relationships better. Yeah. But you're definitely torn between... so the Two of Swords says you're torn between your friends and your mission, which is a solitary mission, or your adventure. Yeah. Wow. Okay, that was number 4. Thank you for listening, watching. Hope you got something out of it. I feel like I touched in with 4 different collectives on the planet, and it feels really interesting to see where everybody is right now. All kinds of lovely people. 4 kinds of lovely people I got to encounter on this Earthling pick a card reading. Yeah. Have a beautiful day. I feel like I have to integrate a whole lot after doing this, and it's like feels I'm shook. I'm shook, especially by this last one, which feels like my reading. Okay, my friends, have a beautiful day. I'll see you next time. We're going to be doing cardinal signs next weekend. All right.